When Formula 1 entered the 2025 season, it's clear a lot has changed. Lewis Hamilton has finally left Mercedes, Red Bull are no longer winning by an unskippable YouTube ad, and of course Valtteri Bottas, Sergio Perez and Daniel Ricciardo are all gone, making way for the plethora of young blood for Flavio Briatore to suck the out of. So what has remained the same? Well, Red Bull and Alpine are still treating their drivers like a fat treats his weighing scales, Ferrari continue to embarrass themselves, and then there's the case of the significant lack of talent that is Lance Stroll. Race 1, Australia. I mean, obviously, where else did he think this was going to start? And immediately Aston Martin looked off the pace, P12 and 13 for Fernando and Captain Head respectively.
What the fuck are you doing?
But in the race, that's where things were about to change. While everybody spent the Australian Grand Prix treating their drivers how Jos Verstappen apparently treats his kids, Aston Martin were given a golden opportunity to score big and unexpected points. And of course, Lance would take this opportunity and bury it in the advertising banner. Oh, hang on a minute, that's Fernando. In rather unusual scenes, Stroll would drive a clean race, earning him a top 6 finish ahead of both Ferraris.
Must be the water.
No, and getting back to Stroll, I'm sure he'll be back to his usual self at the next race in Shanghai. I mean, just a few months ago, this is the same special case that voluntarily drove into the gravel on the f***ing formation lap. But you see, don't be so sure. Stroll would qualify in the top 10 on Friday and admirably defend against the bottle job in his Papaya rocket ship for a significant portion of the sprint. And for the main race on Sunday, he put in a solid drive to go from P14 to P11 come the checkered flag. And a few hours later, once Gasly and the Ferraris f***ed off, that would get converted to points. All while Fernando was on fire. Literally. So with Stroll remembering in fact he wasn't supposed to be a shit Formula 1 driver, all the Twitter meme lords were profusely shitting themselves. Until they remembered Jack Doohan exists.
How can you fuck it?
It was bland before it overreduced and it's my fault. I should have tasted it, Chef.
You're clumsy.
Yes,
you
chef.
salted it.
Yes, Chef.
You over-seasoned it.
But in all seriousness, this seemingly incredible run of back-to-back points finishes could have been a significant turning point in this guy's career. I mean, can we even call it a career at this point? So as Formula 1 arrived in Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix, speculation was rife over what miracles Stroll could pull off to make us all question exactly what he could do with an actually competitive car that isn't just a lump of radioactive shit. But we were brought back down to earth soon enough, when Lance Stroll remembered how to be Lance Stroll again.
He's about to do something stupid.
Qualifying, P20, and nearly a second adrift from Fernando. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so back.
We are back, baby. We are fucking back. We're back. Classic.
But for the race, I'm sure you're wondering how our boy could recover to the points and piss his haters off this time. Honestly, I don't really need to analyse this. I think this graphic sums it up well enough. So as Lance Stroll hate was well and truly back in business, Formula 1 hit the Middle East for back-to-back races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. And like a typical Middle Eastern missile, Yuki Tsunoda sent his Red Bull flying into the side of Carlos Sainz's Williams. Shite was all over the circuit, so the FIA threw out the safety car. This therefore would give Stroll the opportunity to make up positions on the restart with fresher rubber. Or instead he could get overtaken by the rookie in Sauber and fall to the back of the grid. And guess which option he chose. Just 1 week later we were in Saudi, and you know what? I might as well copy and paste what I had for Bahrain. So with another P16 on the board for the Canadian, it seemed he needed a bit of time to reset and recover some of the form he apparently lost in the Chinese airport. And that's exactly what he'd get, since the tosser who designed this year's race calendar clearly had a bit too much to drink, placing the Miami Grand Prix between the Saudi and Imola races. Sustainable future, my arse. But apparently that couldn't save our man since he was seemingly too committed to making P16 his home.
The next day,
the clouds loomed overhead and the pit of hell in the sky burst open, turning the Miami Autodrome into a scene out of Noah's Ark. This is the point where I'd compare Lance Stroll to the Ocean Gate capsule. Hold on a minute. What's that?
Every fucking driver, get out of my way! I'm Liam Lawson! I'm Liam Lawson! You're jealous that I'm quicker! Here's my middle finger, Liam Lawson! I'm Liam Lawson! Quicker than Horner! Fuck you! Help fuck you!
Max Verstappen got a 10-second time penalty for committing genocide in the pit lane. Lance Stroll bagged a top 5 finish out of the fucking blue. So the world looked on in anticipation to see if the Canadians' form could continue into the rest of the weekend. Never mind. Where's next then? That will be Imola. And with Stroll's last qualifying results proving he had some weird addiction to the number 16, all we needed to do is sit back and watch the number 18 car go out in Q1 once again.
And it's 6th position for Stroll. Hamilton is eliminated.
Oh, well I guess I'll go f*** myself then. Don't worry, divine intervention prevented another points finish for Stroll, through Kimi Antonelli's Mercedes and Esteban Ocon's Haas going bang, causing 2 safety car periods that screwed over both Aston Martin drivers in the race. Now on to Monaco then. And remember when I said that Lance had a weird addiction to the number 16? Apparently he was magnetized to Charles Leclerc's Ferrari, as he smashed into the home hero 3 minutes into FP1.
I'm kind of retarded.
This incident being so stupid that the FIA gave him a 1-place grid penalty for the race. Obviously the funniest thing would be for Lance to, do it all again. And that's exactly what happened. So while apparently even God not wanting Fernando to get a stroke of luck this year, Lance Stroll, despite driving like an elderly citizen after a few drinks and a healthy snort of crack cocaine, still was Aston Martin's only point scorer over 8 races and 2 sprints. At least this time Lance would qualify in the top 15, and only a few places behind his teammate. But for some reason, by the time dawn broke on Sunday morning, Aston Martin announced Lance Stroll's withdrawal from the Spanish Grand Prix. The team would later go on to clarify it was related to Lance forgetting how to ride a bike in 2023, where he smashed his wrist to pieces. And on face value, that appeared to be pretty normal. That was until the BBC reported Stroll had been a complete arsehole when exiting his car. He reportedly swore at team members and damaged equipment. I imagine it went down something like this.
What the fuck is going on?
So with Lance choosing to take a lie-in rather than doing his fucking job, Aston were left with a seemingly cursed driver for the race. So guess who got his first points of the season? And now, after what feels like hours that I've been screaming into the void about how Lance Stroll belongs to some of the most incompetent disgraces in Canadian history, we get to his home race in Montreal. Going into the weekend, fingers were crossed that maybe, just maybe, that wrist injury could spare us from having to see the 2025 Elephant Man return, especially with all the talent lining up in queues to replace him. Aston reserves Felipe Drogovic and Stoffel Van Dorn already made clear their intentions to throw their Le Mans drives to the wolves should the opportunity arise. And I'm sure Valtteri Bottas was getting sick to death of fetching Toto Wolff's coffee order. Well, So apparently, a trained professional gave Lance the all-clear to race for his home Grand Prix. Something makes me wonder if the aforementioned medical professional was this guy. As within the first few minutes of practice, yep, there it is. So here we are now, present day, and after 10 races and 2 sprints, what are my conclusions? It's very simple. Lance Stroll has all the characteristics of a Formula 1 driver. If the average Formula 1 driver was a brain-dead fucking donkey. As per usual, he's been a complete arsewipe in the media pen, and if you believe the BBC at least, he's a twat to his team members as well. On track, he's been nothing short of a disgrace, despite the championship standings attempting to mask what a disgrace to humanity this bastard really is. Aston Martin have all the ingredients to be a World Championship winning team next year. They have an exclusive deal with Honda for their power units, they've got Andy Cowell from Mercedes to be their team principal, as well as aero guru Adrian Newey joining with his 15 trillion World Championships. But all that is going to mean sweet fuck all if they've got a driver in the car with the IQ of a brick. And my closing statement, Lance Stroll, without a shadow of a doubt, you are it.